So now we're going to move into warming up for our workout. You would have already done your mobilizations. Now remember, mobilizations are similar to stretching, but you move in the range of motion that you would exist for your workout. Whereas a stretch, you tend to do a stretch where you stretch to a range, a certain point, and then try and go a bit further. Whereas mobilizations, you stay within the range of motion that you are going to be in for your workout, and then you don't hold a static stretch. You keep moving in and out of that range of motion. After you've done your mobilizations, moving into a more loaded warm-up, where we're going to be using different objects of light weight in 3 different planes of motion. So I'm going to demonstrate warming up with different pieces of equipment, but moving through those 3 planes of motion. They are frontal plane, sagittal plane, and transverse. So frontal plane exists in this plane, where you would be moving side to side there. Sagittal plane exists through this plane of motion, front and back. And then transverse plane is where you're going around in this plane of motion. So let's go to our first one. So the first exercise or first piece of equipment that we're going to be using is a tramp and ball. So this one you're going, so this is moving yourself through sagittal. And then we're going to move through frontal. Stepping over to the side. When you're doing frontal, you tend to be working into a bit of a hip drive. So you're going into a bit of a wide hip drive. And then going into transverse and working through your spiral, what we call our spiral line, with the fascial lines. From there. Okay, next piece of equipment that we're going to use is we're going to use the stability ball. So from here, moving through sagittal, from here, and then going into a frontal plane, you might just step out to the side, push it out, and then moving into spiral, coming up, and then going over to the other side. So transverse plane of motion. From here. Then we might move into, or we will move into, our noodles. So, down, and then moving into frontal, pushing forward, tapping out. You can tap these wherever you like. Change your, where you're going, hitting to, change your direction, might be up, might be down, wherever that goes. And then the last one, moving around. And after you do this, it's a nice bit of fun if you're doing 2 people together, then to get them to have a bit of a noodle war as well. So that's our noodles. Next one, going into sandbells. Nice slams. Make sure they're coming all the way down. Then we might go side to side. I'm going to turn this way so I can use the mat. Throw it back. And then going into our transverse. I always tell them to hold it like they've got a steering wheel and then pop it behind. From here, and make sure they're just letting it swing with nice motion. Next one we're going to do is then sticks. So coming through from here, then using the stick. So we're going to mix it up a little bit. So now we're going into our spiral line or our transverse plane of motion. And then we can come around with the whole body. From here. Then we're going to go into our frontal plane of motion. So we've just mixed up our order a little bit in our planes of motion, which is all good to do. You don't have to do them in the same order every time. and then going through to sagittal plane of motion, remembering to do the other side. From here. Next one we're going to do is we're going to do our dumbbells from here. So once again, going down and up. Stepping out to the side. And then going round. We can go down. Remember, you can change these any which way. From here, change it over. So going through into that transverse plane, which is more of that spiral line. So we've used a number of different pieces of light-loaded piece of equipment to do the warm-up in the same 3 planes of motion. So what we're going to do this week in our warm-up is we're going to set up a circuit, have the different pieces of equipment that I've just demoed today. We're going to have them in different places, and then we're going to go through each of the different planes of motion. And now I'm going to catch my breath. Thanks, guys.